have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.
I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight racer if you get too close to me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. Oh, alright. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half-interested, half-sleepy face. Oh. Hello. Uh-oh. Mr. Zuka, what do you think you're doing here? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such, disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. Probably not very happy. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. I should try that. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Gang signs. Popularity aside, don't take that anymore. What? Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that to myself as well. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Oh, look at that frown. Mr. Zuka, please, try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Ooh. Rin nods assertively. That's fucked up. We'll take this more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Not even after translation. What a bitch. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Oh. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the returning student council duo. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. Okay. I am about to ask what projects she has and what are those apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's laying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shizune and Misha gone, so we, too, leave toward the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the other, because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace, and I have trouble matching. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which one. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Oh, great. Ah, Mr. Nakai! What a happy coincidence! Tezuka, too! Of course! He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who had some business with. He had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he's forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin does not make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So, will you do a few tests regularly? But, you know, what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off. If you get what I mean, like erectile dysfunction, nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if anything happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. A lot. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, the fucking prostitutes, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital, the strippers. You know, everybody. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital and a strip club. Not so much for the school, though. Except this school, where it is. This is a small school, and both the student space and the facility seems to be very tightly knit. Tightly knit. At least, that's the feeling I'm getting. So tight. Oh. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often, I would imagine. The thought sends shivers up my spine, and I give a generic answer anyway, because, you know, why not? That's great! Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off at the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? What are you, like a voyeur? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Oh, jeez. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as exercise. I picked up and lifted the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down one on my arm painfully. Oh, jeez. The pain. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? Oh, don't leave me! No! Oh no! The head nurse grabs me by my shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't really need in the first place, and drags me aside. Oh jeez. When I told you exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but people, please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down on you, like, this hard, is you have a habit, are not easy to form, you know. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll become. It's the same with everything, like dieting or masturbating. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Can I promise that? Can we? No. Maybe. Maybe. No, I mean... He gives me a nasty sort of look when I say that, making me try to take back the word. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to the school. I'll promise I'll try, though. You know, whatever. You're not being very convincing here, Hisao. Tip number 1. Medical professionals are not amused if you take their advice lightly. What's up with him? As if a day or two would make that much of a fucking difference. I didn't do anything at the hospital either. Yeah, okay, sorry. Studies me for a moment, then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around! Alright then, creepy motherfucker. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatorial than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. Or is it? The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? Or is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. You know, will they make you better? No, not really, no. They just make me a little less worse, you know. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with a disability. Oh, man. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onward towards the dorm. In her room, in the strip club, we stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in this school. Like they could make a fucking tunnel past this thing right here. The entire wall, made of the same kind of brick as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Oh, that thing? Most of it's still mere sketches. Quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands, and I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet.